what a book! Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today's concept is my three best friends are, one of them's a reader and two of them are not readers at all, and I thought, I sent them a question, gosh, back when I was living in Liverpool, so back in like July time, sent them a picture of my TBR card and I said, pick any book you want, I need it for a video. And I said I won't be reading it for a little while, but pick a book and I will read it for the video. So they have selected the books that we're going to be reading this week. As you can see, I'm filming this intro slightly late because I've already started one, but my best friend Chloe, I've been friends with her for, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16 years? 15 years, I reckon now, in September. We met when we were in year 7. We joined school together for year 7, and we became really close friends, and we I moved to sixth form in obviously for year 12, and we drifted, and then we met each other out on a night out, as you do, because where I'm from is a city, but it's quite a small city, so we bumped into each other on a night out and we've been inseparable ever since, and we actually used to live together. The reason I'm giving this backstory is because she picked the roommate, and she picked the roommate because she saw the name and she was like, oh, it's so fitting that we used to live together. She didn't know what this book was about, and this book is about an adult entertainer who is going through some relationship difficulties, moves in from like a room on Craigslist, I think it is. It's an American thing. So he rents this room from this guy, and Clara is meant to be moving in with this guy who is a family friend and she's had a crush on for years and years and years. But obviously when she gets there, she realizes that her family friend Everett is not going to be staying there, but actually she's going to be sharing the room or the flat with Josh. And so it's very much a lot of exploration in that sense. So then I messaged my other best friend, Cassie, who I met through my job a few years ago, and we were pretty much inseparable for the last like 3 or 4 years. She and I, obviously, if there's any males watching this, then I don't know what like male friendships are like, but female friendships are very much, we share absolutely every single pretty much gory detail with each other. And so she finds it hilarious, anything like spicy. So I told her, again, pick any book on my TBR. The whole TBR cart is kind of like free reign. Pick any book you want. And so she picked The Intimacy Experiment. She thought it was like a funny name. She was like, oh, that could be funny. And so again, she knew this one was quite spicy. She's the reader of the 3, and so she knew this one was probably quite spicy. And in this one, you're following Naomi, who's a female adult performer, and you are also following Ethan. I don't know any more than that. The only reason I knew about this one was because I've started reading it. This one, I know she is the adult performer because she's actually in book 1. However, I don't know any more than that. So I'm intrigued to dive into this one and see kind of the dynamics with that, and see as well what Ethan does, because the whole point of book 1 is that one person's in that kind of industry and one person isn't. So I'm wondering as well what this one's going to be like. And then the last friend that I messaged, also not a big reader. She likes reading books on holiday, but when she reads books, they're normally of the thriller genre. She's not really a romance reader. And so I also met her. She's called Kezia. She and I became friends because we actually taught together back in my old job, and we were friends, and then we got put into partner classes, and we literally spent pretty much every single day together planning, and we left work at the same time, so we went through all that together. So she chose 9 Perfect Strangers. Now she's actually read this book, which is quite interesting because it's unlike her to have read a book that I haven't. Not only has she read this book, but she's the one that gave this book to me because she read it on holiday and she said, I absolutely loved it. You like thrillers, don't you? You like that kind of like mystery. Pick it up. It's really, really good. See what you like. And I've never read from Lane or Leanne or Liane Moriarty before, so I'm very intrigued to see her writing. I know that she's quite popular. A lot of Netflix series have come from her books. I've actually watched the series The Perfect Couple, and I didn't realise that was one of her books before kind of doing my dive into her books for this book. I don't know what this one's about. I'm very intrigued to get into it. I am currently in the middle, as I'm filming this, of reading quite a few thrillers, and I've had that thriller itch. I read a load of romances over the summer, so I'm now in the thriller itch, so I'm so excited to dive into this one. I'm going to let you get into the video now. We are starting obviously with a roommate, so I'll let you get into that, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, I have a starting update for the roommate. So this book was picked by my best friend Chloe because we used to live together. So she obviously saw all the cart and the titles and everything, and she said, oh, it's really fitting because we used to live together. I'm going to pick the roommate. I've actually picked this one up on audiobook on Spotify this morning whilst I was working out, which I didn't have headphones on, so it was a really interesting experience listening to this aloud in my parents' house. If you don't know what the roommate is about, we are following, I've forgotten their names. How have I forgotten their names? We are following Clara and Josh. Clara moves from New York to LA to live with her high school sweetheart as such. However, when she gets there, he's like, nah, I'm dipping out, I'm going on tour with the band. So he's rented out his room to a guy called Josh, and Josh is an adult performer, if you catch the drift. It is what you think it is. And so Clara is quite standoffish, she's quite prudish in that sense. She's very, we don't touch. She blushes at the thought of sharing a bathroom with him. And obviously he gets paid money to be an adult performer. So you're kind of seeing his side of it where he's very much open and has this. And in the part in the book, obviously I'm about 17% of the way through, so not that far through, up to chapter 8. She's just found out his profession and researched it. And so he's caught her during that research session, and so now she's like opening up and asking him questions about it. So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm interested to see their dynamic because he has an ex who, for the adult entertainment purposes, he needs to kind of rectify things with. And he's got some questions around that and kind of what his next moves. And she is just graduated school, doesn't have a job, needs to kind of sort that stuff out. So I'm hoping it's going to follow like individual stories with like some romance woven in rather than it being purely just romance. I'm hoping you see character developments from both of them, so that'll be really interesting. At the moment, I'm really liking Rosie Dannon's writing. The audiobook is really good, so that's nice to hear. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to listen to all of this on audio. It depends how long it takes me, because the audiobook is about 11 hours. It's just under 11 hours, and I have 6 hours left on Spotify listening time until it renews on Monday. So I might carry it on Monday kind of once I finish, but I'm currently reading The Woman in Suite 11 for another video, which you will see soon. And so I might pick this one up a little bit physically once I finish that one before I start the next book for that video, but we're not sure. So I just thought I needed a fluffy romance to listen to in amongst all the other books that I'm reading at the moment, because a lot of them are quite like heavy, which you'll see why. And so I thought I'll listen to this one and then we can pick up the next book as well, because obviously it's both of them are in this video. I'm excited to carry on with this one, and I will check back in with you guys again soon. So I'm hoping my phone holds because you're literally propped up on pillows, but I wanted to give a quick update on The Roommate. So I am now on chapter 13, which is page 102, and that's about 30% of the way through. I continued to listen to this just a little bit when I went for a walk today, and I'm loving it. It is spicy because I'm only 30% of the way through and we've already had our first kind of like spice scene. It's expected with him being an adult content creator that it's going to be on the spicier side, but not only that, I think it's just going to be spicy because the way that the first spice scene was written, it's very much exploratory spice, which is really nice. I feel like I always enjoy reading books where it's serving whether the male or the female main character, whoever it is in whatever book you're reading, where one of them is helping the other person to become into themselves in that manner. So I do always really enjoy reading about that, because I feel like there's obviously when you're in those moments in real life, and therefore it translates into books, they're very intimate. They're intimate moments with whoever you decide to share that moment with. And so to read about someone helping you feel more comfortable, or someone helping someone feel more comfortable or more aware of what they like, what they don't like, and how to feel in those moments, I think is always really, really sweet. And so I feel like that's what this book is going to do so nicely. So at the moment, I am really enjoying it. I'm going to go and get ready for bed and then sit down, and I'm going to actually physically read some of the book now as well. I've been listening to it on audiobook, but I think I'm going to pick up the book physically just to help me read and get ready for bed. But I'm not feeling very well. I don't think you can hear it in my voice. I thought you might have been able to, but as I started talking, I was like, oh, I actually sound okay, but I'm just feeling really like congested. So I'm hoping I can manage to get some sleep. I am so tired as well. I'm in one of those times where I'm not feeling great and my body just wants to absolutely shut down. So I really need to go and shower and get ready for bed, because the sooner I get into bed, I think the better. So I'm going to try and pick this up, but sometimes I'm just feeling whacking on like a really easy film, falling asleep to it. So we'll see what I decide, but absolutely loving it so far. I will check back in with you guys probably when I'm over the 50% mark, or maybe slightly further on. I'm hoping to get through this one, if not tomorrow, by like end of day Monday, and then we're going to start our next book for this video. And then because we're reading this book and The Intimacy Experiment, which is the second book in the series, in this video I'm gonna like create a sandwich out of them. So we're going to read this book and then 9 Perfect Strangers and then The Intimacy Experiment, because that's how I'm actually going to read them in real life as well, because 9 Perfect Strangers I've got on audiobook as well, so I can kind of do a similar thing. And I'm also reading another book for a different video. It's a lot going on at the moment, but that's to say, really enjoying this. At the moment I would recommend, but be warned, please don't go into this not thinking it's spicy. We'll see if that recommendation stands up towards the end of the book. I'm very intrigued to see what this third act conflict is. I've got an idea. It's going to be on her side, and it's going to be surrounding the guy that she actually moved to LA for, potentially, but I'm not, obviously I don't know yet, I'm not at that point. So really intrigued to see what happens. So far really enjoying it, and I'm also really enjoying the audiobook as well. So I will update you guys when I've got more thoughts soon. I hope you guys can hear me, but I tell you what, listening to the roommate on my walks, like obviously I'm walking along, got my headphones on, it's reminding me of that TikTok trend that was going around a while ago of people like being like, oh, what people see when I'm walking along, and it's just like a sweet innocent girl like and then they put in like the naughtiest, dirtiest audio, and that is literally what I'm doing. But what I will say is it's not that spicy. It is, but it's more like spicy charged. There's not been many spice scenes, so I've been loving it. I have reached about the 50 to 60% mark in the roommate. I'm loving it. I actually am loving it. I don't think it's 5 stars. It's very much giving that 4-star feeling, but I didn't know where this storyline was going to go. So when I checked in with you last time, I didn't know where it was going to go, because obviously he's an adult entertainer and she's very much not. And I was like, what is going to keep them together? What is going to be the plot line? How are we going to do this? And so the turn that this has taken, in the sense of why the series is called the Shameless series, I love it. I love it so much. I love the idea as well. I love like that idea and plot line and business idea, and just I'm obsessed. I am going to keep this check-in short and sweet because it's late and I want to get to bed, but I just wanted to check in and just say, so far so good. Absolutely obsessed. I am in love with Josh. I'm very intrigued to see kind of what happens between him and Naomi and see how that's kind of solved, and also with Clara. I do think I know what the third act conflict is going to be. I do think it's going to be some sort of link with her like childhood crush and coming back or whatever, and whatever that looks like. But I'm intrigued to see how that's resolved, because I am so excited. I just want them to live happily ever after. I just want them to fully both like accept their feelings and accept their tension, and just kind of rip the band-aid off and just get it over with. And yeah, obsessed so far. Absolutely obsessed. I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a 5-star, but it could be. It's on that teetering edge of I'm actually really enjoying it, and I am loving the audiobook. So yeah, I'm gonna go and carry on reading it and get into bed. But I will speak to you guys very soon. If anything really major happens, then I'll check in. If not, then it'll be when I finish the book. So I finished The Roommate by Rosie Dannon, and what a book. What a book. I went into this from an Ellen Catherine, I believe, suggestion. She recommended it in one of her videos a while back, has mentioned it again since, and I was just like, oh yeah, it sounds good. Like, it's got an interesting premise. Obviously with him being a adult performer or an adult content creator, I thought it was really interesting. It's not a book and a story that I would have read before. And obviously having that kind of mixed worlds as well, I thought it was a concept I've never really read before, and for good reason, I think, as well, because I like spice in books. I like spicy books. I don't mind having like spice in a book, but I also can cringe quite easily at some of the way that authors describe things and like word things. And I feel like it was so tastefully done. There wasn't a lot of pseudonyms for private parts. Like, they didn't start saying a bundle of nerves, and oh my gosh, the amount of things that I've read in books that I'm like, just, we're adults reading this for starters, because if you're not an adult, then you shouldn't be reading about like smut and spice. We're adults reading it, just call it by its proper name. I know not everyone likes the words, but just call it by, I don't know, I find it a lot more cringy sometimes when they're calling it like different things, and but this was very straight to the point. I think because as well the storyline that they went down needed to have the proper wording for it, because that was kind of the desired effect. And so I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed watching the female main character's like character develop, her personality, her confidence, her belief develop, and seeing how she went from who she was at the start of the book to who she was at the end was just so good. I would recommend this book with a caveat, and the caveat is that you need to like spice. If you do not like spice, if you are on the borderline of spice, if you like low spice books, you're not going to like this. I think that comes with the nature of the premise. I really do. I feel like that makes sense. When you're saying this is about an adult content creator, you're expecting it to be spicy, and it delivered. So if you don't like that, don't read it, because I feel like we need to be a bit more open about kind of spice and it being okay. It's very much personal preference. Not everyone needs to like it, but those that do like it also don't need to shy away from liking it, because I feel like it's got such a beauty to books sometimes. It's a natural experience that most people go through, whether that is someone that they love, marry, whether it's not and it's a one night thing. Obviously it's all consensual in this book and it's not a dark romance at all, so that's a very different element, but I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It just didn't quite give me that 5-star feeling. It didn't quite like tip it over the edge. I don't know why. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It just didn't give me that kind of 5-star like I'm obsessed grip. I did listen to it on audiobook. I thought the audiobook was amazing and I would highly recommend. I'm very sad to hear that the book 2, The Intimacy Experiment, which we're going to see in this video, is not on audiobook in our country. So it's not available in the UK. I cannot find it absolutely anywhere. So I'm very sad about that, but I did like Rosie's writing, so I'm hoping that picking it up physically is not going to hinder that experience, because I know sometimes it can. Sometimes books do just lend themselves better to be audiobooks where you can listen to it whilst doing other things. A lot of the time I listen to it whilst running or working out or driving somewhere or on a walk. But yeah, I would highly recommend this book. Obviously go into it knowing it's spicy, because you won't like it if you don't like spice. But yeah, that's my review on this one. We are now going to pick up book number 2, which is 9 Perfect Strangers, which you might see a clip very similar to this in it. Stay tuned. I have some exciting updates. Let me get my seatbelt off. I am stationary in my car. I'm not moving. So I have an exciting update for you. So you will have already seen it, but I have finished The Roommate in my time, but I haven't updated you yet, so I need to update you when I get home and finalise that. But like I said, you would have already seen that clip, and I have started 9 Perfect Strangers. I'm so excited to get into this book, and I don't even know why. I think it's just because I've seen so much hype about it, and knowing it's a TV series, or a film, I can't remember which one, and knowing I get to watch it kind of afterwards is always so exciting. There's something so fun about reading a book and knowing you get to watch it. Like the point that I'm at now, we've just had the Housemaid trailer, and oh my goodness, I am so excited for that film to come out, because I love the Housemaid's books. And I've actually given my brother's girlfriend the first book, and I've said, you've got until the 19th of December to read this, because the film comes out and we have to go and watch it. So there's something so exciting about reading a book, getting involved in the world, getting involved in the characters, and then actually getting to go and see that on screen and seeing if it's how you imagined it. I'm so excited, and I'm even tempted to do a Housemaid reread before them, but I don't know whether I can fit it in because I've got so many exciting videos coming out. I'm so excited. But ramble on. I have started 9 Perfect Strangers. I'm about a third of the way through. I went for just about an hour and a half walk yesterday and drive, and I listened to it the whole time, and obviously I listened to it on 3 times speed, so it's a really long audiobook. It's about 16 hours long. I think I've got about 10 hours left. So far I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the concept of a wellness retreat. It's something that personally I've looked into. So if you don't know what it's about 9 strangers, given the title. So it's 9 people, 9 strangers that go to this wellness retreat in the middle of nowhere, and they all obviously have very different reasons as to why they're there. Some of them know each other. So you've got a family of 3, you've got a couple, and then you've got 3 or 4 people single, solo, 4 people solo. So they're all there for different reasons. They've all got different things that they want to get out of the retreat. So from what you've heard so far, they had to fill out a form before they go. So some of them have ticked like they want to achieve weight loss, some of them want couples counselling, some of them want stress management. So they're all there for very different reasons, and they get on this retreat and they're there for 10 days. However, when they get there, they find out that there's this vow of silence for 5 days and none of them knew about it. And so that's the point where I'm at now, is they're in this silence, and they're that silence has just started. And I think something's going to happen, obviously, because of it being like a thriller or a mystery novel. Something's got to happen. But I'm very intrigued to see how the characters are going to interact with each other, especially when there's a vow of silence. So you're getting chapters from not only the 9 characters, but also the leader of, or the owner of this retreat. You're getting a chapters from her as well. So I'm very intrigued to see how their thoughts are kind of portrayed when they're not allowed to speak to each other, what they're getting up to, what this wellness retreat kind of does, because it's something that I personally have wanted to do. I really would love to go on a wellness retreat. I'd really love to go on a few days away. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be the top tier key standard for wellness retreats. I think it's exactly the opposite, but it's really intriguing. I just find this sort of information so much fun. So like I said, get into that now. I'm just got to where I'm going for a run, and it's a 6-kilometer run, so that's going to be about a 45 minute run, I think. Just thinking about it now, it's just like mind-blowing. So obviously with me listening to my book on 3 times speed, that will get a big chunk done. So I'm going to listen to that while I'm running. It's currently raining as well, so it's just vile, but yeah, really enjoying it so far. I will check back in with you guys. I don't really have an initial rating. I would say my setup is really good and I'm intrigued. So it's on pathway for a high rating, but I couldn't tell you what yet because I just don't know. It's so hard to like determine that with thrillers, because obviously so much of it goes with the world building, but with the twists and turns, and if you can see plot lines and see things come in. I will say I did link the prologue into the book quite easily, as in you find out who that person is in relation to it all, but I don't think that was necessarily a massive twist or something you weren't meant to know. So I'm gonna go because it's raining and I need to get this run done. But yeah, I will speak to you guys very, very soon with more updates. I have reached 50% of the way through 9 Perfect Strangers, which I know my last check-in was about the 30% mark, and that was before my run. So I went on my run, I then listened to this one on the way home, and I got to the just over 50% mark, I believe. Now, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought someone was murdered. I thought there was a death, and so far that's not happened. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but that's not happened. However, the way that this is going, I'm really enjoying it. We've just had a big twist, which if you've read the book you'll understand, which I didn't see coming, as in I didn't guess it, but I did guess that something sinister was going on because of the way that some of the treatments have been received from the patients. I guess that something sinister was going on. There was something not quite right. There was something hidden, because obviously they arrive and then things start changing, and I was like, there's definitely been something hidden. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens. But that was very much a forethought way back in like the original chapters, and then I never thought of that again. I haven't been going through this book going, what's going on, what's wrong, what's hidden, no, I kind of forgot about it, and I've just been sucked up into learning more about these characters and why they're there and their flaws and what's making them tick, or what's going on, why they're doing stuff the way they're doing, and what's happened in their life to get them to this point. I'm loving it. It feels very much like a character study and very drama-esque. It's very much like I'm reading celebrity, maybe not celebrity, but rich people drama. They've gone to this fitness retreat. They're all rich enough to be able to go to this fitness retreat, which is an expensive retreat, and they've all got something about them that's just not quite who they say they are. There's something there that's just not quite on the surface. You can see what's going on. So like I said, really enjoying this, would highly recommend, and yeah, I'm intrigued to finish the rest of it off. I feel like I will probably do another dent tomorrow, because I will no doubt have to go for a walk and get some steps in, as well as my workout in the morning. So I'm sure I'll get another dent of this done tomorrow. I don't think I'll finish it, because I might do, because I've got about 6 hours left on the recording, which is about a 2-hour listen for me, listening to it on the speed that I listen to it at. So I might do, depending on my walk and what type of walk I need to go on. If I've been relatively active throughout the day, just doing bits and pieces, then my walk won't be as long. Whereas if it was anything like yesterday, where I had to go on a long walk, that was about an hour and a half walk anyway, and so then an extra half an hour probably would be my workout in the morning, which isn't a lot. So yeah, would highly recommend so far. I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. I'm not one where I'm thinking like, oh, it's got lots of twists and turns, but it draws you in. You're really starting to learn the characters. You want to see what makes them tick. You want to see their lies and like the scandals that they've got going on in their life, and that's starting to come to a head now. So yeah, really enjoying it. I might have to look into Liane Moriarty's more of her work, because I know she's a well-established author and I've just never really picked up any of her books, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm intrigued to watch the series as well, because the audiobook is the series kind of poster, and so I'm putting some of the characters as I'm reading them to the faces on the like cover. Obviously I've not watched the series, so I'm kind of intrigued to go, right, okay, I've read the book, I've learned about the characters, that's who I would put to each person, and then watch the series and see if I was right. But yeah, it's good. good. It is really good. It's taken me by surprise, but I'm really enjoying it. I have started editing the video that you guys are watching and realised that I never actually updated you on the fact that I finished 9 Perfect Strangers. So I finished this book yesterday. I went for a walk and then I was going to finish it on my walk, and then one of my best friends met me with her children, so obviously I couldn't continue listening to the book, but then I was doing some editing last night and listening to it whilst I was rough cutting videos and finished it off. I loved that book. I really enjoyed it. I do think the story and the plotline and the premise was just really interesting. I'd never read anything quite like that before. There wasn't any massive twists as such, but there was things in there that you didn't know about and you kind of unveil them. I wouldn't say it was this massive kind of dramatic twist like you would normally expect in a thriller, but you did unveil new information, which meant that you got to understand the characters and the situations that they were in a little bit more. I really enjoyed those elements and meeting all the different characters, seeing their personalities, and also seeing where they end up at the end, because they go through a big ordeal. There's lots of things when you're reading it that you're just like, this would never stand in the real world. It would never stand in kind of the wellness retreat world that we have now. But I ended up rating this one 4 stars. I would highly recommend it. I'm very intrigued by Leanne's work and I would really like to read a few more of her books because I do think they are idyllic for a holiday read. This was very much character study. There was elements of like gripping, but it wasn't thrilling. I do believe you were kind of following along with the characters. There wasn't a lot of plot. You're following along with the characters, you're seeing their lives, you're unveiling their secrets. I would say it's very reminiscent of something like Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars, where you're unveiling secrets and there's lots of, everyone in there's got their own drama, everyone in there's got something that they're trying to hide or something they don't want people to know, or a reason why they're feeling this way, or a reason why they're at the retreat, and it's all very different. So I would highly recommend it to someone if they like a drama kind of filled book. I wouldn't necessarily say it was thrilling or anything like that. You weren't trying to unsolve a mystery, you weren't trying to piece it together, you couldn't piece it together. You were following along for the ride and seeing kind of the drama and the tea of everyone's secrets. But yeah, 4 stars, really enjoyed it, would highly recommend. And I am looking forward to getting into the intimacy experiment, but in real time I won't be picking that one up for a little while, so that's sad, but you'll see it obviously in a few seconds when I put the clips in for you. Long time no speak. I know for you guys it's not, but for me, I've not touched this video for 2-3 weeks. I have finally, let's angle the camera down. I have finally finished the intimacy experiment. The book's over there. I can't be bothered to go and get it. I'm so sorry. I don't think I checked in at all for this book. So for that, I'm sorry. I have kind of struggled with this book. So obviously you saw book 1 in this video and I loved it. I really enjoyed book 1. I thought it was a really good book and the premise was really good and just interesting. So book 2, you're following Naomi from book 1 and her kind of coming to terms with not being an adult star but going into the more corporate side of it. And I don't know, it's linked with Judaism and her like a rabbi, and I think I've only just watched Nobody Wants This and it just reminded me of that so much, and I don't know. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I started listening to it, didn't want to listen to it, so I then changed books. And also I was doing a 24-hour reading vlog, which I was like, oh, I'll smash out in like the weekend or a few days. Yeah, I was like, I'll smash out in a weekend or a few days. Well, it's a week later and I'm still going with it, but that's besides the point. Started that video and I was just like, well, to be fair, the intimacy experiment, I finally found it on audiobook. I will wait and I can do that after the 24-hour video's done. So I moved on to a different audiobook for that video, and so I put the intimacy experiment on the pause, but I finished that audiobook and then I was like, well, I could read it for the hours in the 24-hour readathon and just because this video goes out first, so you would have already seen my thoughts on that, but I just couldn't get into it. I didn't want to listen to it. There was no desire, and so I'm just not sure why that was like that. I don't know. I just think this story for me fell very flat, which is a shame because the first book I absolutely loved. I ended up rating it 3 stars. I do feel like it just felt flat, and I know I haven't really said a lot in this review. I also don't want to give too much of the plotline from book 1 away, but I don't know, she basically runs her own kind of intimacy course for the, I don't remember what the Jewish holy place is called, but for the rabbi, basically she runs an intimacy kind of modern relationships course for the people that go to there. Sorry, that's not very technically correct, but she runs that, and that's how she gets talking to this rabbi. But I feel like it was very surface level. The issue in it was just lackluster, and I can't say too many things about it. It just didn't have a lot to it. So for that reason, it was kind of a 3 stars. I was teetering on 2 stars, but in the end I did really enjoy their romance. So that is our video done. Obviously we've read the 3 books in this video. Thank you so much to my friends for picking these books and for just literally joining in with any of the weird and wacky things that I asked them to do. I am hoping to get another style of this video out soon, but I think it will be for December, so it might only have 1 or 2 books in it. But I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will speak to you next time. Bye.